Today, we're going over 10 of the most exotic lightsabers in Star Wars lore. So without any delay, let's dive right in. First on the list is a wild one. It's a weapon known as the Far Killer, a lightsaber sniper rifle. This sniper rifle used the same technology as a regular lightsaber by channeling the energy from a kyber crystal to fire powerful energy blasts that could take out enemies over 100 kilometers away. It was created by a Jedi named Var Will, who was enlisted by another Jedi named Oab to modify lightsaber technology, which led to the creation of this insane weapon. The Jedi Order hated this weapon, and when they found out how many people had been eliminated by it, both Var Will and Oab were excommunicated from the Jedi and labeled as apostates. But if you thought that lightsaber was cool, just wait. Next on the list, we have an even more exotic variant of the lightsaber, a lightsaber gauntlet. A lightsaber gauntlet was a device that was worn on the arm with two retractable lightsaber blades attached, and sometimes it was depicted as having just a single blade. Originally, it was a concept art for Star Wars Revenge of the Sith that had Master Plo Koon wielding a lightsaber gauntlet, but it never ended up making it to the final film. But it sparked an interest with fans and led to a ton of fan art, toys, and speculation about who might have used this weapon. And since then, it has become a very interesting and cool part of Star Wars lore. One cool thing about the lightsaber gauntlet was that it freed up the user's hands to not only use the Force, but also wield a traditional lightsaber as well, giving a potential advantage to any Jedi who might be wearing it. Although there's not much lore or information about this weapon, I'd love to see it brought into live action someday, like how we just recently got this next one on the list, the Light Whip. Most recently, it was seen by Master Vanestra in the Acolyte series, who, as a young Jedi Knight, once had a Force vision about how to modify her lightsaber and turn it into a whip. Not knowing how the Jedi Order would react to her new weapon, she practiced and kept it a secret from the Order until she was forced to use it against an enemy. It's one of the most exotic forms of lightsabers we've seen yet, incredibly difficult to master and defend against. The Light Whip is a heavily modified version of a regular lightsaber, using technology that keeps the energy of a lightsaber inside of a containment field, allowing it to be flexible and extendable. These lightsabers were known to be once used by the Night Sisters of Dathomir, but were also commonly used by the Jedi and Sith throughout the Sith Wars of the Old Republic. Now, number 4, although not the most insane lightsaber on this list, they are still unique in their own right. It was commonly used by those of shorter stature, who found it difficult to wield a regular-sized lightsaber. The Shoto saber, or the light dagger, was famously used by Jedi like Master Yoda and Master Yaddle, who were both very small, but it was also used as part of a more versatile and acrobatic fighting style for some, like Ahsoka Tano, who, in her youth, dual-wielded a regular lightsaber in one hand and a Shoto lightsaber in the other. The Shoto lightsabers gave its user an advantage in close-quarters combat, as well as deflecting blaster bolts, making them one of the best kinds of lightsabers to wield for quick defensive movements and parrying attacks. Usually, Jedi or Sith who preferred a more agile and balanced form of lightsaber combat were more likely to favor Shoto lightsabers. Number 5 on the list, we have an exotic weapon known as the lightsaber pike, or the lightsaber lance, which was basically a staff with a lightsaber blade on the end. It was most often used by temple guards during the Clone Wars, but it was also a weapon known to have been wielded by Zakuulian guards of the Eternal Empire in the Old Republic era. These weapons were almost as long as the user's body, giving the user the advantage of having a longer reach and making them exceptional slashing or thrusting weapons. The lightsaber pike was traditionally used as a ceremonial weapon for both Sith and Jedi, symbolizing the dedication to protecting and keeping the Order in their factions. Next up, we have a crazy one. Also, one of the most exotic lightsabers we've seen in Star Wars yet, the double-bladed spinning lightsaber, also known as the double-bladed Inquisitorius lightsaber. This exotic weapon was first seen wielded by the Grand Inquisitor in the Star Wars Rebel series, and was specifically designed for members of the Inquisitorius, a group of dark side adepts that worked directly under Darth Vader to enforce the Galactic Empire's will. This weapon was a destructive and brutal weapon that could spin insanely fast, making it nearly impossible to block or defend against. For context, just how fast this thing could spin, it allowed its users to fly like a helicopter. It's probably the only lightsaber in Star Wars that could probably be classified as an exotic vehicle as well. This weapon wasn't without its weaknesses, though. It had a particular disadvantage when it came to its design, which left a rather huge target right down the middle for opponents to cut the saber in two. In fact, this was the exact weakness exploited that led to the death of 2 Inquisitors wielding this lightsaber. Next up on the list might not be as crazy as flying through the air on a rotating lightsaber, but that doesn't take away from how cool this exotic saber is. There's only one of its kind in existence, and it's called the Darksaber. Originally created by the first ever Mandalorian to become a member of the Jedi Order, Tare Vizsla, the Darksaber was an ancient black-bladed lightsaber that was shaped like a traditional sword. The Darksaber was unique in that it responded to the wielder's emotions, often emitting an electrical current around it when the wielder was in a heightened emotional state. The Darksaber eventually became a status symbol among Mandalorians, representing the sign of leadership, and it was passed down, becoming the possession of the leader of Mandalore. So when you were facing someone with a Darksaber, you knew you were fighting someone of great combat ability, because in order to obtain it, the Mandalorians decreed that it must be won by defeating the previous owner in combat. This weapon has been through many hands throughout Star Wars history, from Mandalorians to Sith like Darth Maul, and it's one of the most unique and historically significant lightsabers in existence in Star Wars lore. This next exotic saber was known for its curved hilt design. It's called the Curved Hilt Lightsaber, and it was particularly useful for precision strikes in lightsaber duels, wielded by the likes of Count Dooku and his apprentice Asajj Ventress, who wielded 2 curved lightsabers at once. The curved hilt lightsaber has been used by multiple Jedi and Sith throughout history. It was a very elegant-looking lightsaber, but was specifically designed to allow wielders to use more surgical combat techniques, picking apart opponents' weaknesses with precise and careful strikes. This was shown in Count Dooku's first duel with Obi-Wan and Anakin, when Dooku used his curved hilt lightsaber to pick apart Anakin's defenses and slice off his hand. But as cool as the curved hilt lightsaber is, it pales in comparison to how exotic and unique this next one is. Wielded by a Sith Lord named Darth Noctis, this lightsaber is called the Sickle-Bladed Saber, known for its distinct and curved blade that resembles a scimitar. Creation of the Sickle-Bladed Saber isn't well known and can only be speculated on, but it's thought to be a manifestation of Darth Noctis's twisted desire to inflict fear and pain. The process of what makes this lightsaber retain its shape isn't well documented, but I would imagine the lightsaber might use similar kind of technology as the light whip in order to curve the lightsaber energy into the shape of a sickle. But that's just an extravagant guess. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments about this one, and I'd love to see it in a live action someday. Finally, number 10 on the list, and definitely not least for how unique it is, but the final exotic lightsaber is the Crossguard lightsaber. Numerous variants of the Crossguard lightsaber have been used throughout history as a powerful and raw, devastating weapon. Resembling a medieval knight's two-handed sword, the Crossguard lightsaber was most famously used by Kylo Ren, where he had an unstable and cracked kyber crystal, causing his saber to bleed plasma erratically and cause a devastating crackling sound. From its hilt vents, it emitted 2 more tiny blades that could be used as a point of attack in combat. Another famous Force user to use the Crossguard hilt was Cal Kestis. Powerful and destructive weapon, but it is not without its disadvantages. The heavier components and additional vents, in order to maintain the power of this lightsaber, often caused the wielder to move more slowly during combat, leaving them vulnerable to quick and agile opponents. It also was not a good weapon to have in tight spaces, as it was a fairly large lightsaber, but overall, it's one of the more unique and exotic lightsabers in Star Wars lore. Well, that's 10 out of 10 right there. These weapons are part of Star Wars lore from both canon and the extended universe, and I'd love to see some more of them on the big screen someday. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment about what lightsaber you thought was the coolest. Thanks so much for watching, and may the Force be with you, always.